Hi everyone! Today we're going to do something that was inspired by a comment in my last video. Somebody said that it would be cool to see the process of how my style has progressed over the years, and I thought that would be really cool. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look through some of my old sketchbooks dating all the way back to my high school years. Unfortunately, I don't have anything beyond my high school years because I went through this whole cleaning minimalism thing a while back ago, and I was going through all of my drawings and all my sketchbooks from earlier than high school, and I was like, I'm not gonna want these anymore. I don't even like these drawings, and I threw them away. So unfortunately, you're gonna miss some of my really interesting manga style stuff from when I was in like elementary school and middle school. The only thing you're really missing out is how cringy they are, and my high school sketchbooks and onward aren't as cringy in my opinion. There are actually still a lot of drawings that I love, and even though it's not the style I do anymore, I still adore them, and maybe one day I'll remake it. I was going to redraw one of my old drawings, but as I was editing this video, I was just realizing it was getting towards the 20-minute mark, and I don't really want my videos to be very long, at least not yet. I really want these to be as digestible as possible. So we're just going to do a sketchbook tour, and I'll just kind of have like a voiceover while I am looking through my sketchbooks and kind of commenting about my feelings on some of the things and styles that I was trying out throughout the years, and just how they have fed into my style today. So with that, let's get right into it. So with this first sketchbook that we're gonna look at, it was mostly during my sophomore year, and you'll see a lot of drawings that, are like fun and experimental, but then there are other ones where I did a lot of studies where I did like a ton of blended shading, where I use a blending stump, and I don't know, I really thought I would do something more of like the realism type of drawings rather than the cartoony ones that I'm doing now. But even in here, I went back to like anime a lot. I did this cool lion thing that's kind of creepy looking, and I also went back to anime. So unfortunately, you missed a lot of my anime phase. I do go back to those roots a little bit in my style, like back in this high school days, and not too long ago either, but like this one kind of pays homage to like my anime style. But yeah, unfortunately I got rid of a lot of those drawings, and yeah, I'm kind of sad about the whole fact that I threw away all my like elementary and middle school drawings. That it is what it is, and we can see what I have now. A lot of them are just kind of like weird. I don't even know what that is, to be honest. This was a doodle that I did in class, and I would just go back to it in my notebook whenever I was super bored. This was an animation class assignment where we had to do like a storyboard / comic book page. This was based off of a style that I saw on a book cover, and I can't remember what that book is called, but I thought it was really cool, and it was supposed to be like a portrait, but in a cityscape map at the same time. This is a drawing I did in my art class, and I actually got to draw this onto a big like board that I like got to frame and everything, and I don't know where it went, but I have this at least. So this next thing, it was really different from what I was used to, but I wanted to do stuff that were just like quick and fun, and I really think it captures that. And I actually really like this phase. I still love these drawings that I made, and I can see like my current art style in these little doodles that I did. And they were just like little snippets of my life, or just like somewhere like in my imagination, and it was just a lot of fun. I really loved having this little style, and yeah, it's kind of cool looking at it, and now I can see where my style is now, and seeing what I did back then. This is a little thing that I did in my freshman year of high school, and I sent it to my middle school teacher that I completely adored, and it was just like a day in the life in my high school years. This is a very emotional drawing that I did. We'll just get through that. Okay, so this is another one of my like sketchbooks that I did around like my junior, senior years. Lots of eyes. This little, I don't even know what this is, but it kind of looked cool, I thought at the time. This was a drawing I did of one of my favorite bands called the Civil Wars. And also, I really apologize for the way that this sketchbook is positioned. I did not edit it that way. I just recorded that way to where like a lot of like the sketchbook is kind of off screen, and I really apologize for that. But anyways, there's a lot of exploration style, kind of go back to like an anime type style again. I look through realism again, you know, just kind of doing studies. I really loved like just printing out these photos and studying them, kind of like what I did in the other sketchbook, which the other one I would find like pictures in magazines, and I would just kind of go through them and just kind of try to draw it out in the best way I could. Here, like, okay, so I kind of missed the other one too. I did like this series of pictures where I did like this red balloon type theme, and it was like me exploring some things in like my childhood, and yeah. I really wanted to redo this series, especially with my current art style, but every time I try to, it just doesn't come out right, and I think, I don't know, I guess it's just not the time to do it, and but one day it'd be cool to redo that whole red balloon project. This was a really cool piece that means a lot to me. It was just a time in my life when I felt like I could manage my depression a lot better than I was able to in the past, and it was just kind of keeping it at bay, and I don't know, that picture kind of speaks for itself, I feel like. These were like fun little doodles that I would do in my classes when I was bored or when I was just not feeling great, and drawing this little bird was just like a lot of fun to do. It was also really cool looking at this and like seeing the background that I did. Not that the background makes any sense about anything with this picture, like it's basically a nonsense picture, but it'd be really cool to kind of explore and really challenge myself to, you know, make backgrounds, elaborate backgrounds like that again. But anyways, moving on, this is a sketchbook I did. So I took like several years of break of drawing. I went to college and I went on a mission trip for my church, and I just wasn't drawing anymore, especially because I gave up on my dream to be an animator for a little bit. And so this was like my journey back into drawing, which was really rough because I remembered like feeling like, oh man, I'm so good now, and like I just uphill from here. And then looking at this, I'm like, where did all my skill go? But it's because I took like what, like I think 3-year break, and I wasn't like really drawing anymore. And so this was like my journey back into that. And as you can see, I tried to do the balloon thing again. That just, again, that had a lot of meaning to me. So okay, so after that, I took like another year break, and I was like not drawing, especially because I was going into linguistics. I really thought that I wasn't going to do anything with drawing. So I thought, what's the point wasting my time? My studies were really rigorous, and I don't know. So I just didn't draw. And then when I got pregnant and I stopped working during like close to when I was gonna give birth, I was so bored, and I was like, hey, why don't I start drawing again? Like I remembered really loving that. It's something I could do to pass the time, and especially when I had my daughter and in the times that she was sleeping, I just really needed an outlet. And so this was my journey back into drawing and figuring out what I wanted to do with my style. And I mean, I wasn't really looking to like do anything with my art at this point. I was just drawing for fun, and that was really, really important for me. This sketchbook is like when I started thinking about, oh, maybe I want to like do something with my art. So I was really thinking about what was my signature style going to be. Like when people saw my Instagram handle, they would think, oh yeah, this is so-and-so's like style. And so I was really experimenting with some more media. I was doing some more watercolor. I was playing with inks, as you see with like these kind of fashion model drawings that I did. And yeah, these, I'm still super proud of these. They're still like super cute and it's definitely not my style anymore, but I still love these, and you know, maybe I'll like redo them just for funsies. But I don't know, they're kind of perfect as is in my opinion. This was like a fun little thing I did, again, to just kind of experiment with my style. I like painted the shapes first, and then I drew the line art around it and just kind of did one of those things where you don't lift your pen a lot while you're drawing. And I don't know, I really love that one. And I kind of like that last one. That was a character design, but whatever, we're not gonna talk about that. Okay, I was diving back into realism because I was getting tired of my cartoony style. And so I was taking some classes on Skillshare about portrait drawings, and yeah, that was very short-lived. There's really not many pictures of that, but I mean, I did do some more digitally, and I'll go into that in a little bit. But anyways, here we are in my other sketchbook. I got one that was completely dedicated, well, not completely, but mostly dedicated to like watercolor. I was really getting into watercolor at this time. You can see things in here that are really a lot more like, I don't know, experimental with what my style was going. And as you keep going, like obviously this is like going back into like a more Disney type style that I was adopting for a little bit. But then you see these and there's a little like that texture, and I don't know, something that's a little closer to what my style is now. Like this one, for instance. Oh my gosh, I love doing this. Just like the texture with the pencils and everything. Okay, so this is actually in my journal. So there's a lot of pages that we'll be skipping, but I did a lot of drawing in my personal journal. And this was like from 2 years ago, I think. And I did a lot of color pencil drawings. I was starting to play around with like Prismacolors. I found some on the Blick Art site that I really loved. I was also messing with alcohol markers for the first time. I was like really experimenting with all kinds of like media at this time in my life, and it was so much fun, and it's definitely had a lot of impact on my style today. And I'm just really grateful. I mean, alcohol markers and color pencils are still like my favorite media to work with. I don't even like watercolor anymore, but rest in peace, my watercolors. But yeah, so I was doing, I don't know, there was a lot of back and forth on this style. I went through stuff that was like a lot more like American cartoony stuff. I went something towards like that was a little more homage to my anime days as well. But then also I was like trying to push myself to be more experimental. It was really scary, but then we came to something like this, and then I was like, wait a second, I really liked how that turned out. And I just kept pushing like the shapes and how the eyes looked and how the bodies looked and how I was doing the hair. And I just was trying not to focus on it looking pretty. I was focusing it on looking like different and exciting, and I guess those are kind of the words, and like gestural too. I wanted to look flowy. I really wanted it to be more fun and have texture to it, because I was also really liking other drawings where there was like texture to them, and I don't know. And this too, it was like more simplifying in my drawings. I ended up not really liking it, just having the dot for the eyes, but it was still fun to kind of experiment. That's what this whole like kind of finding a defining style is, like really experimenting. This was another fun thing that really helped me with like coloring. Just again, this was done with alcohol markers and color pencils, and just really finding that texture and the shapes that I would want and all this stuff. Okay, so y'all have seen a little more like pictures on Instagram from this one. That where I was just showing you, I never put an end date. I usually put like a start and end date in my sketchbooks, but I didn't in that one for some reason. Yeah, and so this is a little more familiar to what you guys are seeing. I decided I just wanted to keep going with this different style that I was discovering, playing around with shapes again, with faces, the way how I wanted to do hair, how like expressive I wanted things to look, and how like, I don't know, really finding something that was not really flowy. I'm gonna go a little faster through this part. You guys have seen all my Inktober sketches. They're all on my Instagram page right now. And a lot of these, I was pointing to one of those drawings because that one and a lot of these became illustrations that are going to be on my shop soon, in the next coming month. So yeah, it was really cool. I really enjoyed participating in the Inktober challenge, and I'm sad I'm not going to be able to do every day this year, but that's fine. I have, my shop opening right now. What we're looking through right now is there is Huevember. It comes after Inktober, and I was doing it. I don't have these posted all on Instagram because I was getting burnt out on Instagram and I needed a social media break. So, but I kept doing the challenge because it was super fun. I really liked just working with like the colors of the rainbow and really thinking about like what each color would remind me of. And again, just really pushing my shapes and thinking about what I wanted things to look like in my style, and especially experimenting with like ink pen. I really tried hard to not pre-sketch things and just draw with my ink pen and not think about it too much, because that was the hard part about my previous styles, is that I really had to overthink about proportions and about, oh my gosh, everything. Like if the hair was flowing in the correct place and if the shading was right, and I don't know, all these things. And this one, I'm just really not worried about that too much, about whether the arm is bended in the right way, or I don't know if the body shape is correct. Like I just really wanted to be more expressive and more fun, and I don't know, I just don't want to have to worry about those things. I actually want, my illustrations to like not only look fun, but also like feel fun and releasing for me. So that's the one thing I really like about my style right now. And just a quick explanation to what those like funky looking drawings are that you just saw. There's this like style where you like do a photo study and you don't lift your pen from the page while you're trying to draw the picture out. And I was just doing that. I do that a lot to kind of loosen my hand up and to, I don't know, to help me with my experimentation in my style, and doing that exercise is really helpful. This sketchbook, I was able to get my hands on some gouache for the first time, and it was so much fun. I don't think we're going to see a lot of gouache paintings. I'm going to skip through a lot of these, but I definitely did a lot of color pencil things. I did a lot of ink pen stuff where I didn't sketch out these drawings at first, and instead just looked at pictures and just drew it with a pen. And that was really fun, and that has been really helpful for my style because it really makes me think about shapes and like contours rather than like really getting everything looking perfect. So now we're going to look into my digital art journey, and everybody thinks digital art is like this magical medium in which anybody could use and become this super talented, super skilled artist, and it's a lie. I don't know where this thing comes from. Maybe because like you can do it on a computer, and I mean somebody could like literally just like trace over it or alter it enough with filters that it makes it look like you did it free-handed or something. And people could do that, and I don't know if some people consider it cheating. Some people consider it just artistic vision because you still have to know how to use the tools and the filters, but that's the thing, like you still have to understand how to use the tools and how to get used to using this plastic stylus with a slippery glass surface, which for me was really difficult as someone who started using like pencil and paper is very toothy and you get resistance whenever you're drawing, and I don't know. So the point is, it's not super easy. You still have to work at it, and especially if you do art the way I do it, I mean, you still have to know drawing fundamentals and color theory, which I obviously did not know about in these first drawings because my digital art journey was also my journey into coloring. And I mean, up until this point, I really hadn't colored much of anything. And when I did, it always looked super muddy. So this is really interesting, I guess, looking through this and seeing how I would do things differently. I also dabbled into a lot of portraits once again, which was super fun and also super frustrating. They took a really long time because you have to make everything look smooth and transition well, and it's actually, I don't know, point is, like, doing digital art is really a lot harder than you think. And getting everything to look super smooth isn't as easy as it looks, and especially to look good. But I had a lot of fun. And honestly, I started off with a laptop tablet type thing with just a cheapo stylus, and then going into an iPad Pro honestly made the experience a lot better and a lot more fun. And just the whole interface of the Apple Pencil and the iPad Pro, and then using the app Procreate, just made everything like a lot easier in the sense of like understanding the tools and how to use digital art. I also discovered an artist named Pernille Oram, and as you can see, if you look at her Instagram page, which I'll link below, you look at these and notice that they look awfully a lot like hers, and I really regret doing that. Not that like copying someone's style is bad. I think it's really important for like discovering your own style and what really speaks to you. But I think they should be kept to yourself and not posted anywhere online, just because, I mean, these people who have a distinct style have really worked at it for a really long time, and it's really like a way to discover yourself and put your mark on the world and say, hey, this is me. And I don't know, I think it does a disservice to the person from who you're stealing from, and also to yourself, or just copying, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I want to acknowledge that there is no style that's 100% unique anymore. The art world is very saturated, and even looking at my own style, sometimes I see other people's artwork and I'm like, oh, my work looks a lot like that, even though I had never ever seen them before. And, you know, I doubt that they stole my things. I'm not even that big yet. But, I don't know. That's kind of my spiel on like style and copying it and having a distinct style. It's just really hard to have your own, but also don't steal other people's style. Like, they work really hard, and it's like stealing an identity. At least that's how it feels like to me whenever someone like 100% copies me. It kind of sucks. But yeah, looking through these, I really love that kind of like goddess one that we just looked at. Oh my gosh, this one, I was copying a style. Again, I wish I didn't post it, but I was copying this style of this comic that I really loved. It's called Seed, and it's on Webtoon. I think that's what it's called. And it's really cool. I haven't read it in a while because I think the season ended, and so obviously I took a break from reading it, but I'm sure it's back up, but I recommend you look it up. Anyways, back to the digital art thing. I did a lot of like portraits too when I was having art blocks, and I really loved doing them. That one with the green haired girl is still one of my favorites, and I'm impressed that I did it because I really don't like doing realistic portraits because they take forever to do, and I'm so hard on myself on how good they look because if they don't look exactly like the portrait and don't have the proportions right or don't look realistic, I just kind of bang my head against the wall. And anyways, so I don't like doing them, but they're kind of fun to do and at the same time, and they're fun to look at. This cloud picture I actually am gonna do, or redo rather, in my next video, and I'm really excited to kind of look at that for you guys because I have redone that photo since the first one that I did, and it's kind of cool to see like the differences in style and skill, and I think that'd be really cool to do that over and over again over the years. I don't know, that's my thought anyway. And then here you see that I am getting into my style that I have right now. This was actually the first time these few pictures that you've seen is the first time I got back into digital art after taking a break. I was feeling really disconnected with digital art and thus also feeling disconnected with myself. So I spent a lot of time doing just regular traditional sketches, which I already showed you. And then once I felt comfortable in the style I was getting into, I just went back onto my iPad and started sketching, and that's where this was born. And with this picture was when I decided I wanted to open a shop, and I'm really excited to share that with you guys in a couple of weeks. And that's it for today's video. Like I said before, I had so much fun looking through my sketchbooks and kind of seeing not only where my style has progressed, but also where my skill level has been. As I said in the introduction, I was going to do a redraw of one of my past drawings, but didn't because of the length of this video. That doesn't mean that we're not going to do that at all. That's actually something I'm going to be exploring in my next video, and I'll take you through my process of how I go about drawing something and coloring it and all the fun stuff that goes into an illustration when I do the redraw. So if you want to see that video and be notified when it comes out, don't forget to subscribe and hit that little alarm button so that you will get a notification of when that video comes out. And also don't forget to like, comment, and also share this with anybody who is an artist of any kind who might be interested in this content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.